Gotcha. Okay. Let me make sure. All right. I don't know why my camera is like mirrored on this, but it's not mirrored actually on the actual thing. Okay, whatever. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up with the Commanders. Today, we're live for this one because I was sick yesterday, still kind of am, but you know what? We're here. Free agency has started. I've brought in William Herman to help me break down a lot of these signings because there's been a ton of them so far. I guess we can just get started with some of the big ones. We'll start with actually, hold on.
Xavier McKinney, I just saw.
Xavier McKinney is going to the Green Bay Packers. I thought he was going to go to Philadelphia. I really thought that was in the bag.
That's what I thought.
But
wow, Packers.
Packers
are active.
Yeah, they're acting today. 4-year deal worth $68 million. That was reported by Schefter and Ian Rappaport. But the Packers, they lost Darnell Savage. They had to cut Aaron Jones, but they've made now 2 big signings today. Josh Jacobs on a massive deal, and now one of the best safeties available in Xavier McKinney, one of the best young safeties available. William, what are your first thoughts here on the Packers' plan to go post?
Yeah,
or into the
I like what they're doing, but I don't know. Like for the Josh Jacobs thing, it's weird. I haven't seen any sort of like numbers for that deal yet, so I don't know about that. But Xavier McKinney, I think, is a good move. They desperately needed secondary help, so I think that's a good decision. But I don't know. The Josh Jacobs one to me was weird. It just was unexpected. I did not think I thought he was going to go back to Vegas.
It's
I don't know.
Yeah, first off with the Josh Jacobs move, I know we're going to be recapping all this later on too, but with Jacobs, you look at the backfield, you had to cut or A.J. Dillon's contract's expiring. Aaron Jones, you end up releasing him because at first when that Jacobs news first happened, I thought, wow, Jacobs, Aaron Jones in the same backfield, that's immediately for next year one of the best, if not the best backfield duo in the entire league. But now you had to get rid of Aaron Jones, save some cap space. It'll be interesting to see, like you mentioned, no numbers yet on this Josh Jacobs deal, which usually means that there's still some time to go before they actually come to an agreement. So things can still happen with that Josh Jacobs deal. And for Xavier McKinney, I've talked about it before, but like we've seen the Packers, they desperately need safety help and DB help heading into this free agency. They kind of lucked out with all the safeties that got released, had a majority, had their kind of choice with McKinney, with Simmons, with some other guys as well, Quandre Diggs. And I think grabbing a guy like McKinney, who's only 25, I think, is a big deal. It's a $17 million per year average, which I don't even think resets the safety market. So that's that's about what the franchise tag would be, $17 million for a safety. So great deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like it.
Packers. You ahead.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good move. It's a lot, but he's a good player and he's young, so I think it'll work out.
Yeah, the Packers last year, one of the youngest team, I believe, in the NFL, and so keeping on with the trend of bringing in some younger players. Now let's move on to what I was going to talk about before the McKinney stuff happened, was the Kirk Cousins deal, which was definitely the big highlighter today, or headliner today.
Right.
I'm not saying highlighter, but the big headliner today. 4 years, $180 million. Let me get that exactly right. But 4 years, $180 million for Kirk Cousins. He has $100 million in guaranteed money. And what was it? Yeah, $90 million in guaranteed for the next 2 years, $10 million guaranteed in 2026. None of it guaranteed in that 4th year of that contract. Kirk Cousins, who's 35, first thoughts on this Falcons team now that I'm starting to fall in love with.
Yeah, I like the way the offense is going. Obviously, they have Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. The offensive line is always good. So I think it's going to be good for Kirk. I think it makes sense. It's definitely a lot of money, but The only worry is, it's a lot of money for a player that's coming off an Achilles injury, especially with his age. But some of the ball he was playing last year prior to the injury was really, really impressive. So I think if you're getting that player, you're in for a really, really good upgrade too, especially at quarterback with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I think I love this move. We've seen, I don't know if you saw Kyle Pitts' tweets about
Saw that
so far, but it looks like he's happy too. He's happy too. So it's gonna be fun to watch this Falcons team. Very, very young offensive weapons. Drake London entering his third year in the league. Kyle Pitts in his fourth year in the league, fifth year maybe, I don't know, but Kyle Pitts as well. Yeah, what was it, 2021 or 2020? I think it was 2021.
I think 2021. Yeah, right, and I think he's got a lot of
2022. Yeah, so he's entering his fourth year in the league. Bijan, of course, in that backfield. You had a solid, stable piece at quarterback, which really was Arthur Smith's weakness when he was the head coach in Atlanta. Couldn't really find that consistent piece at quarterback. You had a guy like Kirk Cousins. We've seen the consistency that he's had in the production that he's had over the last few years and what he can bring to this Atlanta team. And I'm excited for it. That offense looks good. That defense was already pretty solid, above average as well. So it's a deal I really like.
Yeah, I just saw just now. It's kind of a random one, but Devin Singletary is a Giant.
Is a Giant.
So, I don't know. It's not league-altering news, but
I mean, is that the Saquon replacement? Devin
Singletary. I don't know.
No way. That can't be the Saquon replacement.
The Giants, I think, have to be the biggest loser today. I don't know what direction they're headed in.
Too.
The Dolphins. The Dolphins have lost Van Ginkel, Wilkins, and Hunt.
And Brandon Jones in the secondary too. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Broncos. I think.
Yeah, to the Broncos. So I mean, they've lost a bunch of key pieces. I don't know if you saw that Van Ginkel deal. That looked like a steal to me.
I think it's 2 years, 7 mil, 14 total, or something like that.
Yeah, it was something, or maybe that was the guaranteed money, but I think it was like 2 years, 20 million, 14 guaranteed. So
yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, he is a good player, and he really broke out until he suffered he had a season-ending injury too, I think, right? So but I mean, great from Van Ginkel as well. I mean, he's like a lot of
guys are getting paid.
A lot of guys are getting paid today. And one more thing on like the Kirk Cousins deal, I think it's great that just the amount of money that they're still going to have over the next few years with him, because he's really only under contract for 2 years, basically a 2-year deal. You can get out of it after that second year. He's going to be 37 or 38 maybe by that time when he's after those 2 years. Gives you a 2-year window as well with all of these offensive weapons still on rookie contracts, Drake London, Robinson, Pitts as well. And I don't know. I really like the move for Atlanta. I think it was the best move they could make at the quarterback position. Still saving for the future as well this offseason. So I think that was a wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think bringing in a rookie quarterback would have not been, especially with the where they're picking. I think they're at 9. I think they're really in a position where they could trade back now too.
Yeah, trade back because I could really see one of the wide receivers fall to them at 9, like one of Odunze or Neighbors, or maybe Joe Alt potentially, and that could get him to trade back and get some more assets for the future. So really, I think the Falcons are one of the biggest winners. I know they only made one signing so far, I believe, but they're probably one of my top winners so far today.
Yeah.
We'll look at some more. Christian Wilkins, I think, was a massive one to the Las Vegas Raiders. Massive deal. Let me bring up the actual specifics of it now. But what are your first thoughts, first reaction
to the deal? Wilkins? I mean, it's definitely a lot of money, but I think the Raiders are, establishing the front on the defense, and I think that pass rush is good now. I think this will take a lot of weight off Maxx Crosby, which is good. But I got to be honest, I did not think the Raiders were going to be the team to get him. I think they had I mean, they obviously still have a glaring need at quarterback and defense, especially in the secondary. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Fields, but besides that, I think it's a good move in total. I mean, it's a lot of money, but he's a good player, so I think it's worth it.
Yeah, Wilkins deal 4-year deal worth 110 million base value, 84.75 million in guaranteed money in that contract. So that's a lot of money, but I think the duo between him, Maxx Crosby, now that's going to generate a lot of pressures. Maxx Crosby already leading the league in pressures at edge, and now you bring in one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles as well, and Christian Wilkins, who's also a great run stopper. I mean, this defensive line, you don't even forget about Tyree Wilson in there. And
I think he still could be good.
Yeah, like it was mostly an injury that kind of made him struggle throughout that first year. But I'm excited for the future there.
Yeah, I think it was a good move. I think it was a good move for the Raiders, honestly, in total.
Yeah, the Devin Singletary stuff. Now this is a little bit interesting to me. 3 years, $16.5 million to sign with the Giants, worth up to $19.5 million. That's a lot of money for.
That's a lot of money. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
That's a lot of money for a potential backup running back. Singletary was good last year with Houston. He had a lot of production, I would say, but I mean, like he was behind one of the better offensive lines that kind of consistently stayed good throughout a bunch of injuries. But yeah, it's that's a lot of money for a potential backup running back. I'm getting a little bit.
I gotta say, I don't know if I like this move at all. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like you could get someone close to them at least similar production from a running back, maybe in like third to fifth range. I mean, especially if he's a backup, that's a lot of money. But maybe he'll be their starter. I don't know. But yeah, he definitely did have a good year. So.
Yeah, that makes me a little bit worried because I don't know if he is a starter running back, like a guy that can play 3 downs or so. I don't know who their backup is.
I think it was. I gotta say, I don't know either.
No, he's a free agent. Gary Brightwell. Yeah, so they're gonna need to make a move at running back. I don't think Singletary can carry that entire workload back there. But
I got it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that was something. We talked about Josh Jacobs a little bit. What else? I'm looking through Kirk Cousins, Bryce Huff to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, Bryce Huff.
That was someone that I wanted personally for Washington.
Yeah,
did not end up happening. Unfortunately. But big deal for him. What are your first thoughts on that?
I think it was like 3 for 47, something like that.
Yeah, 3 for 51.
So 51, that's what it was. So yeah, I mean, I think they're still taking calls for Sweat and Reddick, which is interesting. I mean, Reddick's obviously aging, but I think it's a good deal.
Yeah, I think it's a solid deal for Philly, especially. I think this kind of confirms that either Josh Sweat or Hassan Reddick will not be on the team next year because you can't have all 3 of these guys plus Nolan Smith still, a former first-round pick, rushing off the edge. So that was something. I want to also talk about a little bit the guards. I don't know if we talked about Robert Hunt already. We're kind of flying through some of these guys, but just the guards and the amount of money that they're getting paid. Jonah Jackson to the Rams, former Lions guard. 3 years, $51 million, $34 million in guaranteed money. We saw Graham Glasnow re-sign with the Lions before free agency began. And now Robert Hunt on that, 5-year, $100 million. Massive deal. I'm trying to find it. There's so much happening, but
right.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on like the rise of the guards? Yeah.
I think, Robert Hunt is definitely getting a lot of money, but I feel like if you're the Panthers, you kind of have to overpay because I don't think there's much, if any, motive to want to sign with Carolina. But he's a good player, but $100 million is not what I was expecting for him. I think it's like 63 guaranteed or something like that. I mean, like I said, he's a good player, but I think it's a good move, especially for the offensive line in Carolina. They're obviously weak in the front, and I think getting Bryce Young some linemen so he can improve his confidence will be vital to Carolina's success. So I understand the move, but it is a lot of money.
Yeah, I currently look at their offensive line. You have Akeem Ikwanu at left tackle, the former first-round prospect. It's been a struggle the first 2 years in the NFL for him. Austin Corbett at left guard, Cade Mays, potentially a new center with Bradley Bozeman now gone for Carolina. So potentially an upgrade there is coming for center. Robert Hunt at right guard and Taylor Moden at right tackle. That's still not a great offensive line, I would say. So yeah, still not a great offensive line. But yeah, those are some of the yeah.
Do we talk about Pollard?
I don't think we have. No, Tony Pollard to Tennessee Titans. Let me find the contract.
That was my least favorite move of the day. Yeah. I don't understand that move at all. I feel like Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears kind of play a similar type of running back, so I don't understand the move at all. I mean, I feel like their play style, I feel like they needed more of like a third down power back as opposed to signing a player that's basically just an older Tajay Spears. I mean, Pollard's good, but 3 years, I think it was 24 mil. So, I mean,
yeah, I think
I wasn't a fan, though.
No, I wasn't a fan either. I think we've seen some good running back signings, I would say. I think the Josh Jacobs one was a pretty big one in Green Bay. But beyond that, you look at Pollard's deal, 3-year, $24 million, about the same for DeAndre Swift as well when he went to Chicago, which I don't know. Those two moves were definitely two of my least favorite things today.
Yeah. I mean, the Swift move, I thought they were going to be in on Barkley along with Philadelphia. I'd read that Saquon could be a Bear, but I mean, I guess the fit is good for Swift, but I'm not as high on Swift as others.
Yeah, I don't like Swift either. He had a negative, I think, rushing yards over expected last year.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was yeah, he wasn't great last year, even behind the Eagles' offensive line, which now he's going over a Chicago offensive line and running through a Chicago offensive line, which again is it's not like the worst, but it's not like the Eagles' offensive line as well, one of the best in the league. So
I like what the Bears are doing on defense. I gotta say, I kind of like the vision there. They have Jalen Johnson. Obviously, they re-signed him. I think they still need maybe a corner, but Montez Sweat has been really good for them. So yeah, I like the Bears. But the Swift move, I'm in agreement.
Yeah,
I don't know how to feel about Ryan Poles. I feel like there's a lot of moves that I like, and then there's a lot of head scratching moves that are questionable.
Yeah, I think they were a little bit too greedy, I think, on Justin Fields with what they were wanting for him. I know, like a month ago, we were talking about how Fields could get a second-round pick. You look at the market now, Fields isn't moved, but quarterback spots are being filled up. Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. It really sounds like the Broncos are kind of out on bringing in a quarterback through free agency. It really sounds like they could go Jarrett Stidham or maybe someone in the draft for them. Right. And then the Patriots, a lot of rumors right now for Jacoby Brissett. So it's
I saw Brissett's going to have a lot of options. I read. I think a lot of teams view him as kind of like a bridge starter or quality backup.
I mean, like last year, he was solid for Washington. The 2 games or the
I was going to say,
2 halves he played in. He led like 4 touchdown drives.
I think. Yeah, the Jets and the Rams, maybe, I want to say. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Rams. Did he play against the Rams? I think he did.
I got to go back. I know it was the Jets.
I think he scored a touchdown to Terry, threw a touchdown to Terry or something like that.
Maybe. I think it might have been the Niners game. No, it was the Jets game. Yeah.
The Jets game. Yeah, I'm looking right now. There's been. Gabe Davis, the Jags.
Yep. We have to talk about the Jags. They're making a lot. They're spending a lot of money. I don't know about Balky. I don't really like it.
Yeah, that's another move I'm not a big fan of. I feel like at this point they could have just re-signed Calvin Ridley. I feel like Gabe Davis, 3 years, $39 million, 50 total with incentives is a lot. Yeah. And I feel like they could have – I don't know. I'm not a big Gabe Davis fan for the fit in Jacksonville. I feel like –
Zay Flowers.
It just doesn't move me.
Zay Jones. I mean, Zay Jones a free
Yeah, they have
agent,
Zay
but
Jones. They have Christian Kirk. I think I don't know.
yeah, I mean,
We'll see, but
not just that, but they're spending money on both sides of the ball. Darnell Savage, 3 years, 21 million, 12 and a half
yep.
guaranteed. And they've brought back pretty much. They're bringing back their interior offensive line beyond center, where they've signed Mitch Morse from Buffalo on a contract. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, restructuring Brandon Scherf, something that I think it was time to move on. I know the former Washington guy, he's his plays kind of decreased as of late. He's getting older, and the interior offensive line was bad last year. It was bad.
Right.
So,
and then
yeah.
Dorrance Armstrong to the Commanders. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah. Dorrance Armstrong.
It's a lot of money.
And that was a lot of money. 3 years, $45 million. Now, something I do want to look at. Wait, hold on. Jeffrey Simmons just tweeted something. Okay, hold on. I don't know what he's tweeting about. He said something about
Nico.
Yeah. Collins. All right, Colts are re-signing Grover Stewart, but
3 years, 39. It looks like.
Yeah, that's whatever. I mean, he was wasn't he suspended for the rest of the year for PEDs?
Yeah, I mean the Colts are doing a lot of re-signing. Chris Ballard is.
Pittman. I mean, they're not afraid to spend.
Yeah,
they're not afraid to spend. But back to the Dorrance Armstrong stuff.
Yeah.
So 3 years, $45 million, maximum $45 million. I'm kind of just waiting to see what the actual deal is because it sounds like that's the max. So it's not going to be $15 million a year. I was thinking more. I did think we were going to overpay him a little bit. I know he was expected to get about $8 or $9 million. I was expecting like 12 to 13, probably somewhere around there. And I think that's what it's going to be for Dorrance Armstrong. And again, Washington has the money. We have the money. And to get guys like Dorrance Armstrong, a guy that I know Dan Quinn really likes, he's still pretty young. He's kind of hitting his peak right now, or about to hit his peak right now. And I mean, that's a guy I like, 3-year deal. I was kind of expecting a multi-year deal for him. And then, again, just no one right now, no one at the edge besides Andre Jones and KJ Henry, 2 rookies from last year, 2 day 3 rookies from last year. So it's going to be a complete rebuild. I would expect definitely more signings at edge. Gus Edwards to the Chargers. But I'd expect more. Yeah. I'd expect some more signings at edge for Washington before we get to the draft. But overall, it's whatever. I am just waiting to see what the actual number is, I think is the main thing. And then Tyler Biadasz, for me, I was like, this would be such a Dan Quinn thing to do. Bringing his starting center for the Cowboys to Washington. He ends up doing it. 3-year, $30 million, kind of a similar deal to what who was it? Was it Leno or Gates got, or Gates or Wiley? I think it was a similar deal to what Wiley got last offseason for Washington. So I mean, I'm fine with it. Biadasz is a better offensive lineman than Andrew Wiley. I don't think he's like a wonderful center at all. I don't think he's the 8th highest paid center in the league, which is what he's getting paid. Or 8th best center in the league, which he's getting paid. I think he's a little bit lower than that. But still, I mean, he's consistent. It brings sustainability to a position that needs sustainability. And I think overall, I mean, you'll see my grades later in the article, but I think this is a solid move. Both of those are solid moves. Nothing crazy, though, for Washington. Now, for your Ravens, we've, I guess Gus Edwards is the first, like, kind of former Raven to sign somewhere. Eric DeCosta, he's caught sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this just makes so much sense. Harbaugh to Harbaugh, they obviously go back and forth a lot between coaches and players, but I'll always have a special place for Gus Edwards. I feel like he's just been so consistent for us, really good in the red zone. And I think it makes sense to go to the Chargers. I mean, they're obviously done with Eckler. And yeah, Gus, I mean, he doesn't really get injured. He plays a lot, really good on third down, good in the red zone. So yeah, I think it's a good move, but I'm wondering what we're going to do at running back now because Gus is gone. Keaton Mitchell's coming off an ACL tear. Justice Hill is more of like a special teams receiving back. And then you have J.K. Dobbins, who's I love, but he's injury prone. I'm hoping for Derrick Henry, but I'm not seeing anything about that. So we'll see. But Gus did well for us.
Yeah, I think with the running back market and how it's kind of played out today, I'd be kind of surprised if Derrick Henry were to choose a team. I feel like for him, I feel like it's going to be a few days before he decides, especially with how like older and how into his NFL career he is. Kind of more,
Right.
I feel like I know this is his first time hitting the open market, but kind of more of an experienced guy. So I think he definitely waits a few days. But I think just looking at it from the Chargers' perspective, you have Austin Eckler, who's currently a free agent. Eckler, I know Washington has there's been reported interest that Washington is interested in him. I know some other teams could be interested in him as well. I don't think he's going back to Los Angeles next year.
Neither do I. I've seen some Raiders buzz about him reuniting with Telesco.
Yeah,
but I'm not a big Eckler fan now. I just think he's kind of losing it.
Yeah,
as far as like.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely last few years it's been bad. Now again, like with the Anthony Lynn, the running backs coach in Washington, kind of brings a little bit of a balance with Brian Robinson and more of a receiving guy in Austin Eckler. But I even make the argument that Brian Robinson is a pretty good receiving back last year. I feel like he's improved that in his game, his pass catching ability out of the backfield in his game, especially last season. So I would argue that we wouldn't need a guy like him. We kind of need more of a speedster, which Brian Robinson, of course, isn't. And J.K. Dobbins was a guy that I kind of came up with. Now, personally, I don't want to sign J.K. Dobbins. Running backs historically coming off of a torn ACL and a torn Achilles and everything that's happened to him, I haven't done well. So I'm not a big fan of him. But yeah, I'm not.
I think you were. I gotta say, I think you really, really are gonna end up being correct on when your article you said I don't think the Commanders will be a top 10 spender, because just looking at the tracker, there's not a lot of like quote unquote big name guy. I mean, there's obviously a few, but like as the day goes on and the hours start to tick, I don't know like where a lot of these players will sign, especially if Washington, like maybe. I don't know your opinion on this, but maybe like, is there anyone left that you would love to see in a Commander's uniform? I'm just looking at the list right now, and I think it's starting to slim down as time goes on.
I think a linebacker. I think Washington's definitely going to be eyeing a linebacker and looking at the guys still there. Jordan Brooks, Bobby Wagner, both of them from Seattle. I think Washington ends up with one of those two guys. Jordan Lewis has been a name that I know a lot of Commanders beat reporters have been talking about recently. The cornerback from Dallas. Now it'd be the third former Dallas player to sign today with Washington, but I think ultimately he could end up in Washington.
Just saw Geno Stone.
Yeah, Geno Stone
signed to the Bengals. That is disappointing.
That's a thing. I mean I don't know if that really moves the needle at all, but I mean him and Dax Hill.
We obviously couldn't pay him because I mean, to go to the Bengals is, I mean, he's a good player, 7th round pick. It was great value, but I gotta say, I don't know. Like the Ravens are obviously going to lose a lot of defenders, but I don't know. Like when you're deciding on a free agent, how much of this is Mike McDonald just doing such a great job of the defense, or how good? Like because a lot of these players just came out of nowhere for their success. Like Geno Stone, I don't know if he's going to be. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think this does much to the Bengals, but
yeah, I don't think it does much. I was more of a Dax Hill guy. I guess you have him and Stone now, but I'm kind of looking through all the other moves, but so I think Washington definitely. We haven't talked about Grenard, the Vikings.
Oh, of course, I love that move.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I should say I like it. Yeah, I think he's good. He's a good player.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. Definitely made a hole in Texans in the Houston defense. 4 years, $76 million for Jonathan Grenard. $42 million guaranteed. That's a lot of money.
But
$19 million average per year.
They're gonna have to replace Danielle Hunter, so I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another kind of big name player I could say. The Commanders could go after him, maybe.
I would be kind of surprised. I think what's his name? Yeah, I just think we signed Dorrance Armstrong, and based on the contract we've given him,
right?
I think he's expected to be like our top edge rusher, which is fine. I don't think it's crazy, but it's fine. Let's see. Hold on.
I gotta say, I think the Ravens were really smart with their decision to get the Madubuike deal done before Wilkins and Jones. I think that's panning out to look really good.
Yeah,
because I was just looking, and Wilkins got 110 million.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of money. But
yeah, Grenard's contract comes in as the 15th best, 15th highest paid, I think. Edge rusher, Aziz Al-Shaair.
Right.
Yeah, Al-Shaair has been a guy that I didn't have him on my predictions list. Of course, he's one of the best off-ball linebackers available, but I didn't have him on my list. Cashman was someone that I thought was fine, but it was more of a D'Amico Ryans kind of made his linebackers look really good last year with how he plays that scheme. He kind of makes all of his linebackers look really good.
That's what I'm wondering with a lot of these players. Like, are they just a product of the scheme, or are they really, really that good? Like, I think I think Seattle, I'm going to go with. I think Seattle is going to give Patrick Queen a lot of money, which is, he's a good player, but I saw the other day, I think he has like 128 missed tackles.
Yeah. He's not.
Like, he's a player that But like a lot of these guys, like Geno Stone, Jadeveon Clowney, like a lot of these guys just came out of nowhere and had their best career year with Mike McDonald. So can they repeat that production somewhere else? I don't know, but I guess it's worth a shot.
Yeah, it's I think for Baltimore, I'm trying to go through, like, there's noties like every few seconds, but I think with Baltimore and Patrick Queen, I would expect Queen, like, I don't think his production would probably dip because, again, he's staying in the Mike McDonald scheme. If it was more of the Mike McDonald scheme making him look good, well, he's still going to be in it, so it's not
right. That's the thing. If it's Seattle, it won't change, but also let alone the fact of Mike McDonald, he became 10 times better after the arrival of Roquan Smith, so that's another aspect that I think could be in part his success. But I mean, I still like Patrick Queen, but we don't have enough money.
Yeah. Justine Anderson reporting that the Commanders and Raiders have made preliminary inquiries on Austin Eckler.
We were just talking about the two fits, Raiders.
Talking about those two teams. So it's it's I think, again, bringing Eckler to Washington isn't exactly what we need, and if we overpay him, I'm gonna be pretty mad. But it's something that I feel like Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury would want to do, especially with Anthony Lynn coming back, and him reuniting with Anthony Lynn. Scheme match with the skill set makes players look better than they may actually be. Exactly. That's what we're saying, is that, like, if you can optimize a player's skill set, like, look at, I don't really want to use Kyle Hamilton. I don't really want to use him, but I'm just going to use him anyways. Like, Kyle Hamilton's a great player. Even if he wasn't in McDonald's scheme, like, he's going to be a great player next year as well. But, like, the way that McDonald was able to optimize what Hamilton does best at, like, I can tell you right now, if Hamilton and Washington drafted Hamilton with Jack Del Rio as the defensive coordinator, Ron Rivera there as well, he would not be this good. We would not. Yeah, coaching plays a major part of it. And McDonald was able to, they were able to develop him, define to what he's good at, his strengths, and able to capitalize on it. And he's turned out to be one of the best safeties in the NFL 2 years into his career.
Yeah, I still, to this day, don't know how he fell to 14, but I'm definitely not complaining.
Yeah. One of the worst things that's ever happened to me was when he was on the board at 13 and we traded back. That was that
Dotson?
That was the Dotson year, yes. Chris Olave was on the board.
Are you still a believer in Dotson?
Yeah, for sure. I think last year's kind of just the Eric Bieniemy didn't really work out with the skill set of the players on offense. We didn't really see a lot of
Right.
production from Terry either. I mean, he got a 1,000-yard season, but that took much longer than it needed to be to get to 1,000
Right.
yards. And for Jahan, it just didn't really work out. I felt like with the play calling and getting him, because he was like open. I was watching the film, like he was open. It's just, I don't know if that was really on how, but it's just poor route design. Whatever, it just didn't really work out. So I'm not too worried about Jahan. I think his rookie season kind of showed what he's able to do. I think he creates separation really well and stuff. So it's just not too crazy there. But
yeah. I'm looking right now. It looks like the number one. Oh wait. Okay, so there's Queen. I saw that the Vikings may be interested in Darnold, which I thought was interesting.
I saw that too. It seems like Sam Darnold is getting a lot of.
I'm seeing like, I think I saw a tweet, maybe Diana Rossini, like someone said that teams view Sam Darnold the same as they view Justin Fields, and I was like, I don't know. I
don't know about that one.
Fields fan. I kind of like Justin Fields.
Yeah,
I kind of like him. I think.
Yeah. Perception
Gino is.
You can't go back now. So.
Gino is 2 years, $15 million.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Looking at the running back market, highest paid running backs getting paid $16 million right now. Barkley got paid, what was it? $8 million per year, I think.
Right, I think so too.
Yeah, and then same with, I mean, Eckler right now is getting paid $6 million a year. He's going to be 28 or 29 now. He's 28 now, almost 29. So
yeah,
I'd say overpaying Eckler would probably be above $5 million. I would say.
Right.
He's getting paid $6 million right now. I'd probably say above $5 million is what's overpaying him. And I think he does end up getting over $5 million. But just based on what we've seen from these other running backs and what they've gotten, Pollard and Devin Singletary apparently is that guy. So it's yeah, I think he does end up getting paid $5 million, but I'd rather go someone younger in the draft, get a little speedster in the draft, maybe a guy like Bucky Irving or someone like that. I know he's tiny, but
yeah, I like Bucky.
Yeah,
looking right now, there are a lot of safeties left. The safeties don't seem to be attracting as much. No. And then I'm really intrigued. I read earlier that the Ravens are interested in Michael Onwenu, I think. And then I read, Onwenu. And then there was another guard, I think I was reading about. I think Tyron Smith, or no, tackle. Tyron Smith and the Cowboys. There's still some big names left.
Yeah,
Leonard Williams.
Especially at off-ball linebacker as well. Devin White.
I was just gonna say. There's Devin
one.
White. I think
Murray.
Levante David, maybe Patrick Queen.
Shaq Barrett. I mean, that's more on-ball, but Shaq Barrett as well as a pass rusher is available.
Yeah.
It's
I think I don't know, but I think like if we see, depending on what a lot of these teams do, I feel like you can kind of get, or at least somewhat see what the team is trying to do in the draft with what they do in free agency. Because I'm interested. Like I feel like the mock, especially your mocks, like I'm going to be reading later on in the week, are going to be totally different now. Like I bet the Vikings are. I've been seeing a lot about JJ McCarthy to the Vikings and trading up, but after losing Kirk, like officially, I think everything's just going to be way way more.
Yeah. The Josh Jacobs numbers have come in. 4 years, $48 million.
Wow.
12.5 guaranteed. Only 12.5 guaranteed.
That's not that bad.
That's not that bad. 12.5 guaranteed is like 1 year. It's like
the Raiders couldn't match that. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's smart not to pay running backs, but
I mean, oh wait, no.
The Raiders.
He edited the post and he took off the 12 million guaranteed.
Oh.
So it just says 4 years.
The Raiders.
Jordan Schultz, who reported it.
The Raiders beat reporter for The Athletic says that the Raiders are kick in the tires and negotiations about Justin Fields or talks with Justin Fields. So it looks like the Vegas reunion could be. I don't hate it, honestly. I think they're way out of that Jaden Daniels range.
Yes, they're way out of the Jaden Daniels range, but what are you gonna do? You're just gonna
Like
bring
trading
the same
up.
Justin Fields that was in oh wait, no, kicking the tires. Oh wait, hold on. I thought you meant like. Well, yeah. I mean, you're gonna trade up for.
I meant trading up. Yeah, there's no way he gets there at 13. But
yeah,
like I honestly don't think JJ will even get there now. So it's like Bo Nix or Penix at 13. I don't think so. So I think they're just. I don't know. Like the thing is, it's the same offensive coordinator last year as the Bears. So I just don't see what they think is going to be different about. I mean, I guess maybe the weapons. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Getsy and Fields again, that's not gonna. I'm not gonna be moved by that. We've seen. I mean, there's some people saying that like the Justin Fields to the Raiders is actually pretty close. So
yeah,
like I actually think that could.
I mean,
I
don't
just
know.
lost it. I just saw it. I lost it again.
I saw Tristan tweeted about it.
Was it Tristan? But yeah.
And if you search up Vic, or yeah, there's a lot of people tweeting about it.
Got it. Yeah.
Vic Tafer tweeted about it.
Yeah.
Raiders discussing us. I would, but honestly, like. I know it may be the same thing, but I would feel comfortable giving up a day or like a day 2, day 3 pick for Fields because I think he's better than Aiden O'Connell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they currently have. I mean, I gotta say, I think Aiden O'Connell's fine, but I think Fields just gives another element between his running game and I think the Raiders. I don't hate the way they're looking right now. I don't know.
I mean, they're spending money.
Wilkins is a lot.
Yeah.
Jacobs obviously hurts them.
Yeah.
But I just feel like
yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. They definitely need some more corner and obviously Fields and Getsy. But I don't know. I just feel like Wilkins and Crosby could be special.
Damn, everyone's tweeting about the Fields to Las Vegas stuff now. Like Deanna Rossini reposted that. Like,
oh my god, yeah, my thing is flipped it now.
Yeah, okay, so that, I mean, like, if they're talking about it now, I think now I would if they give up a day 2 pick at this point because they're the only option, they should have all the leverage. Las Vegas should have all the leverage.
Yeah, they have to. I would push it to maybe even a 4th.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is that like Las Vegas has all the leverage in my opinion in this because Chicago can't trade him anywhere else. I know someone in chat said New England. But it doesn't really sound like they're going that route. It looks like it's going to be Jacoby Brissett and maybe like a project at quarterback behind him. But like, I mean, for the Raiders, Fields isn't going anywhere. Like Fields has nowhere else to go.
They have but it's Tom Telesco, so
it's also Tom Telesco. So if
I'm fully prepared. I'm fully prepared for the 2nd round pick notification.
Yeah, it should be a day 3 pick. I mean, if he gives up like a 4th and a 6th, maybe that's even kind of a stretch for me. Like, it'd be either a 4th or maybe like a 5th, just straight up.
I think, like honestly, I know it's Getsy. Again, I'll say this: I think a 4th, it's worth it. You just see what you get because the potential's there.
Right, yeah. I think a 4th is fine, but if it's like a 4th and a 6th, like day 3 picks matter if you're Las Vegas and. Las Vegas draft.
Yeah, people are saying Justin Fields' trade market is almost non-existent. Raiders have everything in their power to make the right move here.
Yeah, the Raiders don't even have their own 6th round pick. They have the Chiefs, but they have one pick for every round basically this year, and then they have all. Because
I've seen a lot of people say that Fields will stay a Bear, but I just feel like they won't do that. I don't know. I feel like they want him out
after all this talk.
Yeah, I imagine if they just. I feel like it would just be awkward.
Oh, we have Raiders quarterback news. Gardner Minshew is going to Las Vegas.
What?
I mean, like, he'll compete with.
I guess that's actually not bad. I mean,
does that put him out of the Fields?
What does that feel? Are they going to have Fields too?
Gardner Minshew is the answer at quarterback for Antonio Pierce, it looks like. Because as soon as the Justin Fields hype was trending up for him to go to Las Vegas, Ian Rappaport shuts it right down and says Gardner Minshew is signing a 2-year deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, like, okay, but does that move me?
I mean,
No.
he's serviceable.
Is he better than what's his name? Is he better
O'Connell?
than O'Connell? They can't play both. What if they can?
Part of me wonders if Antonio Pierce is so in on Jaden Daniels that they didn't solidify like a starting quarterback with Fields. So they're keeping that window open to see if anything like possibly with Daniels could ever amount to anything. Because I've read so much about like he just loves everything about Jaden Daniels. That I really thought Fields was just going to be a Raider.
I mean, Tristan, I know one of our people at TWSN saying that like he's convinced that they're carrying 3 quarterbacks next year. So, Devin
so
Duvernay
the
to
field is it good?
Devin Duvernay, another speedster. Oh, he's a speedster, right? I think.
He was an all-pro returner, but
yeah. Daniels is going to Washington. We're going to shut that down right now.
You're not a Daniels to Washington?
No. I'm not. I mean, like, I haven't really gone over entirely yet on my pod, but, like, I'd rather go Drake May. But, I mean, I have to fully watch Jaden Daniels before I can actually say anything big time. But I've watched Drake May and Daniels.
That may be one of the craziest 45-second turn of events.
Yeah.
It literally looked like Fields was
about to go to Las Vegas, and then
people are saying they won't stop chasing for Fields if I'm the Raiders. Give as much competition as possible.
Yeah, you're gonna have a 3-way camp competition: Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and Justin Fields.
I mean, honestly, like, I feel like Minshew. I don't. Minshew's not terrible, but it's just an interesting move.
Yeah,
especially with the Fields.
I mean, May to New England. If they don't get Fields, well, they may have to get past Washington first before that happens.
This guy tweeted, confirmed the Raiders will Gardner Minshew will back up Justin Fields. So some people seem to think this Fields thing is not changing one bit.
Gardner Minshew will what?
He'll
back up Justin Fields. I mean,
yeah, like some people think this thing is still about Fields.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know though.
Did Antonio Pierce just give up on it, Aiden O'Connell? Because they either have 3 quarterbacks on the roster, or like they just don't go for Fields.
Yeah, some Raiders fans seem to think that they'll take Nix or Penix and that'll figure it out. But I don't know.
Oh, Jahan Dotson and Tyreek Hill starting beef on the timeline, bro. What is this?
I saw he tweeted it's like a mutt team to the Eagles.
Yeah. And then like no, he tweeted like so Tiki Barber said like you're dead to us, Saquon, good luck, you're dead to me. And
I saw that.
Jahan said this is weird behavior, and then Tyreek Hill said interesting take.
What do we think about Justin Jefferson?
I mean,
he's stuck in Minnesota with no one.
Oh, that's true. What's the they haven't said yet?
Oh, 2-year, $25 million deal. Strong money.
That's a strong contract. For a backup. Wait, hold on. Let's look at the backup quarterback average annual value. Hold on. Okay, backup quarterback average annual value. Okay. Garoppolo, $24 million, but he signed that as a starter. Zach Wilson's getting $8 million and still in his rookie contract. Brissett's getting $8 million.
I mean, I
Matt,
feel like
he's
I
the
kind
highest
of
paid
get it
backup.
because I feel like I kind of get it for the Minshew thing. You have something before going into the draft, but like I feel like you know what you have with O'Connell too. I mean, you saw him for like 6 games, or like more than that, more games. I think he played like 10 games, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, more I'm looking at it, I think they're rolling into 2024 with Gardner Minshew. Because they're not paying him this money if they know they're trading for Fields. Or if
Yeah,
they know
the
that they're
Fields thing
close to
has to be
trading
out the
for him.
window now. And that's the thing. I don't understand why the 2 athletic reporters were so heavy on that when, like, they obviously. I mean, I think the Raiders hiring Luke Getsy was all based on he wasn't the issue. Fields was. So bringing Fields there after they didn't have success just didn't make sense. But
Yeah. What was it? Let's do some math here. I think it's 12.5 per year, right? 25
yeah,
divided by 2. Yeah, 12.5 per year. It puts them. Let's see.
I'm just realizing, and someone will probably tweet this. Have you seen the clip of like Gardner Minshew talking about Maxx Crosby? It's like I
No,
don't know if you've seen
I've
this.
not
It's
seen
like
that.
someone will probably tweet it.
Tristan is so mad. Oh my god.
He
He's
said
like
this deal
supposed to
almost
be
makes
insane.
no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. Like, if my team, I know my team for 2 back-to-back years was walking the season with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Carson Wentz. I know what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're getting going in, but
I mean, I feel like at some point this deal for their I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point I just want a Ravens notification if it's good or bad. I just want something. I don't know. I'm sick of waiting.
Tyquan Lewis
Saquon
re-signing with the
Lewis.
Colts. That's a solid dude. He's a solid player. Oh, I haven't talked about Antonio Gibson yet. To the Patriots.
3 years, 12 or something like that.
Yeah, 3 years. Base value of 11.25 million, max value of 17.25 million. Do some quick numbers real quick. 11.25 divided by 3. Oh, that doesn't make sense. 11.25. Oh wait, okay. He's getting just under 4 million per year. It's whatever. I mean, he was great his rookie year. Rookie year, Antonio Gibson will be missed. Even that second year was good too until he got turf toe. But yeah, I mean, didn't think he was going to be returning anyways. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Did definitely sound like Washington was going to a different direction. Pretty much has been in the doghouse for the last two years ever since we drafted Brian Robinson. So yeah, he's kind of like DeAndre Swift in a way, but worse. He just doesn't read what's given to him. And again, he's a former college wide receiver, so and he couldn't
Memphis, right?
Yeah, at Memphis, and he couldn't break tackles. So
Tristan is continuing to go off. I just saw another tweet.
I mean, if you look at it too, like I think Brian Hoyer's a free agent, but you have Hoyer, Minshew, O'Connell. That's 3 the same player right there.
I mean, like, Hoyer they cut.
Yeah, I mean Hoyer's gone. Right?
You still have Jimmy G on the roster, and you have to cut him by Wednesday. They'll probably cut him.
Yeah,
they'll cut him. I'm sure. This pretty much all but confirms the cut.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people I'm seeing mixed reviews on Twitter. The Raiders fans seem to be displeased, but some people are saying that he's solid and it's smart. I don't know. I'm seeing mixed reviews. I'm not a big fan, but maybe there's something there.
Yeah, it's pretty big money for a potential backup quarterback. More than what Jacoby Brissett got last year to back up Sam Howell. So
yeah, I gotta say, this just feels like.
Go ahead, you go.
I feel like that Antonio Pierce just can't give up on his fantasy of coaching Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
I feel like that could be maybe what's going. I mean, 3 quarterbacks is a lot.
Now though,
at this point in the season,
where is Justin Fields going? At this point, He's not going to Atlanta. He's not. I mean, Sean Payton. I doubt he's going to trade for another quarterback after what happened with Russell Wilson. I mean, he didn't trade for him, but doesn't really have the he's kind of just in cap hell right now. He's not going to trade for Justin Fields. Potentially have to give him an extension. The Patriots, it doesn't really seem like something they would do. I mean, maybe things change, but I feel like they want more of a pocket passer, and they seem to be interested in Jacoby Brissett. The Falcons, I think I already said with Kirk, but now the Raiders with Gardner Minshew. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've had this thought for a while. There's been no data or any information that is to prove this move, or even I don't think anyone said anything. But I feel like one team he maybe a good fit would be Seattle, just because Geno's age, and I don't know. I feel like he could sit, and I don't know. But I think part of me just thinks Chicago wants to move on from Fields.
But again, the longer they wait on a trade, the less leverage they have, and right now they've got almost little to none leverage. So
I still can't believe in the span of 30 or 45 seconds, Justin Fields was basically Tristan said all but finished.
Yeah.
Vic Tate, the athletic reporter, said, "Yep, talks are spinning," and the Diana Rossuni even went out and quote tweeted it and said things are moving. And then the second after that,
yeah. They go from Minshew. I mean, Vikings as a potential destination could be something with now no longer having Kirk Cousins there. But again, seems like they might be interested in Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I don't get the Sam Darnold hype. Everyone seems to love him.
It's yeah, that doesn't look great. But yeah, Sam it really seems like maybe New York could be an option for the Giants. I know the Giants, there's been a lot of reports today about a potential landing spot for Brian Burns. Could be the New York Giants.
I saw that. They're open to trading him.
Yeah. So I wouldn't, I think it'd be great for the Panthers to trade him at this point. But again, I feel like the sense that the Panthers have right now is they know that they messed up by not trading him for 2 first-round picks. And so they're kind of overvaluing him right now, which teams are going to give him less than 2 first-round picks, but they're kind of holding steady at what they said earlier, even though now knowing that they messed up and declined that trade. So if that makes sense. But yeah.
The Jets are another team I think should start doing something. I don't know. I feel like they need some offensive line help desperately, and they're just staying put. But I mean, there's a lot of players left. It's only. I
mean, there. I feel like there is a.
Marissa seems to think Geno Stone is a game-changing safety.
I don't know if he's a game-changing safety. Is he an upgrade to what they had last year? Yeah. Without Jesse Bates, they didn't really have a guy next to Dax Hill. Dax Hill has started to be great, but top guys left on the board that haven't signed yet: Leonard Williams, DJ Reader, Kendall Fuller, Chase Young. Jeff Okudah signed a 1-year deal with Texans. Kenny Moore is still on the board.
Cameron Curl?
White. Cam Curl still on the board as well for Washington. I did not expect these Washington free agents to go quickly, by the way. There's the thing with Washington is that this Washington fan base hypes up these guys, these players. What happened with the rumors of Hal to the Jets? It was never true. And same with Hal to the Patriots. That was never true either. So I even asked people about that. No one thought those were true. Michael Davis, Austin Eckler, Chidobe Awuzie.
Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde,
Stephon Gilmore, Daniel Hunter.
Kenny Moore is good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the linebackers are just the most slim.
Yeah, no one has signed really any linebackers.
There's so many left.
Yeah,
especially the ones that I thought would go off the board. The bigger ones, at least, like the Brooks, Wagner, Queen. I haven't heard anything about Queen.
Yeah,
not any.
I think that could be at this point, it's 5 p.m. We're probably going to get like some more action, especially with the West Coast teams, I would say.
Yeah,
in 3 hours, but I don't know.
I think he's a Seahawk, really. I do. I think it's almost.
Yeah.
But I've heard Houston maybe.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I mean that's pretty much a good amount. I kind of wanted to keep this to an hour because I know we have to get to some stuff. But
right.
I mean, any other things you want to talk about?
I think that was it.
Got a lot of it. But yeah, where can people find your stuff and your work?
Oh yeah, Twitter. My Twitter is just my name, William W. Herman. And then my TikTok is linked in my Twitter. That's probably the easiest.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll do it for this week's episode. If something big happens later this week with Washington, I don't expect anything massive. I might go live again like some other day this week with maybe like someone else. Maybe some other people or William again. But yeah, that'll do it for this week's episode. It was great having you on, William. And
yep, thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was fun.
So yeah, that'll be it for this week's episode. See you guys next week.